Morning, everybody. Welcome. This is going to be the last meeting for the year, and we are just waiting for everybody to sign in. And then, so we'll give everybody another minute or two just to log in quickly. And then as soon as the number of guys in the meeting looks like it's more or less the number that has registered, we are good to go. I think we've got an interesting lineup planned for today. We are going to be looking at the AREP eCoC, and then we are going to take a quick look. Yeah, I don't know if it's fair to say that we're going to take a quick look at the new standards, but there are two new standards pending. And I think it's important to know that they are there. In case you were planning on buying some standards, I would probably hold out or just pause that thought for a while. Good morning, Shekhar. Morning, Megan. Hi, George. I just see a couple of guys have dropped messages in the chat box, so I thought I would just respond to those. Guys, it is year end. It is a little bit crazy as far as running around is concerned, especially if you are involved in projects and you have to get your projects done before year end. What I am going to do is I think I'm going to formally start the meeting. We do not have a very formal agenda. We are in the background, we're running around, also trying to finalize some arrangements, especially with regards to the COC. So today's meeting is going to be informal. It's going to be relaxed. I'm going to take you on a walk through the eCoC. We are going to be sharing the link for companies to register for the electronic version of the COC. We expect the development of the eCoC to probably take another, I would like to say, a couple of weeks. I have completely underestimated the development of an electronic COC as far as complexity is involved. So you've got to have a number of databases. You've got to have a database for the certificates of compliance. You've got to have a database for the test reports. You have to have a database for the contractor, and then you have to have a database for the registered person. And all of these have to come together at some stage. And the information from the one database is drawn into one form. So on your test report, for example, you've got information coming from the contractor database, you've got information coming from the registered person database, you've got information coming from the test report. So it's a lot of moving parts. It was working better on our test laptop. So I've been testing the plugin on my website, on the PQRS website, and everything worked fine. Then this morning, I transferred the plugin onto AREP's website, and all of a sudden, the APIs weren't linking up, and we had all sorts of issues pushing information and pulling information. So it seemed to work better on the other side. Nonetheless, we've got it loaded. And I'm going to do a quick walkthrough. I don't know whether it's necessary for me to draw on the whiteboard Depending on the questions you guys have and where this is going, we'll see how we deal with inquiries as we move along. Okay, now this is the last meeting of the year. And the fact that we are going to be circulating the link for companies to register for the eCoC's is going to be what I'd like to call a little bit premature. But it's the last meeting for the year, and we can't leave this until the end of January, because by the end of January, it's 2 months down the line. So I wanted to kind of push this into this meeting so that we can start identifying a couple of companies that are interested in working with the electronic version or the electronic format of the CoC. I think there are loads of benefits to using this platform, just from the fact that you won't have to carry around paper anymore. So I'm going to share screen, and then I'm going to quickly show you what we've done. Lehlo Nolo. Good morning. Good morning, guys. Morning, Sipu. Sipu says, I will appreciate an opportunity to share the latest on SSEG application process. Sipu, do you want to share the latest on the SSEG application process with us, or do you want us to share the latest information with you? If you've got some new info and you'd like to quickly have a chat, I see you activated your mic. Sipu, are you there?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Good morning, colleagues. Yeah, but chances it could be old news already, but just to make sure that it's, in case there are people who haven't heard, that you no longer, I'm talking now residential SSG application, you no longer need to use the services of an engineer registered with EXA to sign off the compliance or engineering letter. So if it could be a technician registered with the Department of Labor. I understand that's where a lot of outcry was coming from, because it could be costly to secure the services of an engineer. So now you can use the services of an electrician registered with EXA, with the Department of Labor. So that's the latest I wanted to share. And also to remind you that customers are left with 5 months to benefit from the dispensation of the waived fees. Beyond March next year, we're not sure what will happen. So in short, that's all I wanted to share, Chair.
Sipu, thank you very much. Just for me, just for a bit of clarity, are you the Sipu working for Eskom?
Yes, Chair.
Excellent. That is pretty cool. Thank you very much for joining our members meeting, and thanks for the quick update. Okay, guys, so we have loads of municipalities. If your customer does not have an Eskom account number, it means that you can't register them with Eskom. You can't register the SSEG with Eskom, and you have to register your SSEG system in the municipality where your customer is paying for the electricity. So if they're paying in Ekurhuleni or in City Power, and they get a bill from City Power or from Ekurhuleni or from wherever else in the country, you are supposed to register at that municipality. So just understand that there's a clear differentiation between when you are an Eskom customer versus when you are getting your bills from the municipality itself. Letlo Nolo says, what's the back and forth on the single phase tester being able to issue COCs? What is the Department of Labor standing? So the Department of Labor says you are allowed to sign off, says that single phase testers are allowed to sign off solar PV systems that are powering a single phase point of supply. So for me, the discussions that we've had with the Department of Labor is clear. Single phase testers are allowed to sign off according to the DOEL. The issue that you have is outside of the Department of Labor, you could have external organizations who choose not to allow single phase testers. So this has nothing to do with the regulation and with what the regulation says and with what the DOEL says. This is something that either organizations like Eskom or Standard Bank or any of the financial institutions or municipalities have the right to determine who they want to allow to sign off in their area. So I am aware that it generates a lot of uncertainty and it generates a lot of uncertainty probably being the right word. And what it does is it creates a lot of gray areas with regards to who's allowed to sign off where and what the drive or the initiative is. So what you have is you have certain organizations or industry bodies who have predominantly IE or installation electricians as their members, and they might prefer for single phase testers not to sign off. That doesn't mean that that is what the DOEL has said or what the letter from the Department of Labor has said. So, Letlo Nolo, just to clarify that, single phase testers are allowed to sign off. If you have any doubt, you're welcome to contact me. I'll give you the telephone number of Mr. Malatsi, who is the director. He sits under the chief inspector at the Department of Labor. You guys are welcome to phone Mr. Malatsi. If Mr. Malatsi is not in this meeting, which I doubt, it doesn't look like he is, but he has not been doing his work, and I am happy to forward his number to everybody that is interested and keen on giving him a call, because the Department of Labor is supposed to promote the regulations. They're supposed to promote what the regulation says, and they are supposed to be actively involved in industry. They are not, so I'm happy to share their numbers. You're welcome to give them a call, send them emails, remind them that you exist. Okay, then Joe says, when you have prepaid electricity, where do you register? Joe, you are going to have to check. So if you have prepaid electricity, guys, this is an interesting question. So my folks, for example, they have a prepaid meter in their house, but you can't see based on the prepaid meter or even where you buy power for that meter, you can't see where they are registered. So that's a good question. You might have to phone the company who owns the prepaid meter and ask them in what region that prepaid meter has been installed. They would be able to tell you who the authority is for the region where that prepaid meter has been installed. Vessel says, I have moved over to do all my test notes, equipment, protective device lists on spreadsheets, as well as all COC and test documents. In this regard, I'm very happy with the hybrid test report being digital. I have found it a bit difficult to navigate or edit when installations are out of the norm. For instance, I do mostly Victron setups, so the client can have multiple MPPTs that are not part of the inverters. Would be great if there's options to choose the amount of products and then have the test report populated accordingly. Wow, that is an excellent feature. Lots of work, I'm aware, but would be fantastic. Currently, I need to edit each report manually. It is very time consuming. Vessel, I think that would be an amazing feature. So what we have done in the test reports we've completed, I normally, if I go out to site and I complete a test report, I make notes of everything that is not linked or noted in the test report, and then I go back and I make changes. At the moment, the test report is sitting at version 13. So if you don't have version 13, it could be that you are just a couple of versions behind. That's the one thing. The other thing is, on the online platform at the moment, I have the traditional certificate of compliance and the traditional test report. And what Wynand from TDMI has asked for is when, for example, you click on new installation or on, if you click on a new installation, it takes away all the old installation fields. So it is possible to do it. I don't think it should take too long to set it up. We have put the back end together in such a way that it should be able to handle multiple variations. So happy to look at that. Then we have on, Sean says, on the municipal bill, the electricity meter should be at the bottom. It's in the City of Cape Town bills. Okay. Thanks, Sean. Sven says, if a single phase tester is allowed to sign off on COC that has a PV system, then is that legally acceptable in law? Yes, it is. Without having to phone someone first. Sven, it is. But what is busy happening in industry, and you've got to understand, this is going to sound weird, but I'm just going to say it the way I'm thinking it. If there is a drive by industry to try and prevent single phase testers from signing off, you have certain organizations promoting the fact that single phase testers are not allowed to sign off. So now you've got an unsuspecting guy from Eskom busy doing research, and he stumbles onto that site and the site says he's not allowed to sign it off. Immediately, this guy goes back to management. He says to management, listen, guys, we're not allowed to have single phase testers signing off. And the single phase tester ends up being left out. So it's on the one hand, you have the Department of Labor saying something. On the other hand, you have certain sectors of industry that's busy distorting the facts. And that is confusing all the users in the market and making it extremely difficult for guys who are single phase testers. So I hear what you're saying, but yes, it is acceptable in law and you don't have to phone someone first. The only reason why I want to give out Mr. Malatsi's number is so that you don't say you heard it from me. You can say, I have spoken to the Department of Labor, I've spoken to the director at the Department of Labor, and I know for a fact that it's allowed. So it doesn't matter what all the noise and what all the noise and the chatter is going on in the background. You can know for a fact that single phase testers are allowed to sign off. You guys are going to have to become more vocal. So I'm now speaking to the single phase testers out there. You guys are going to have to become more vocal. The other day, someone phoned me and he said to me, he'll just sit and wait and see what happens. It's because single phase testers have been sitting and waiting to see what is going to be happening. that we are where we are. You guys, if you own businesses, you have to kind of stand up for what you believe in, what you are qualified for, how you feel about your qualification, how you feel about your experience. I know there are lots of things that are being said in social media around single phase testers, and at the moment everybody's kind of passing all the bad installations onto single phase testers. But if you spend enough time on social media, you'll hear the guys talking about installation electricians that are signing off installations that are not compliant. So I know of master installation electricians that have made mistakes. We all make mistakes. It's just about understanding where you fit in, how much training you've done, how confident you are in your abilities, and being able to promote this in an environment where you're allowed to trade. Thanks, Sipu. I see you sent your email address. Eskom SSEG applications can be sent to Dlamini at Eskom. So, Sipu, what do we do to address the single phase tester issue? Who's going to sort that out for single phase testers? Because you guys have excluded single phase testers from your registration criteria. How do we fix that? Do we have to put you in contact with the chief inspector or the Department of Labor? How do we fix this? How do Eskom make these decisions without consulting the Department of Labor? I'm just
Yeah. No, I hear you, Chair. You can, all these queries can be sent to my email address. What I will do, I will get my colleagues, because there's a technical committee. I will get them to attend to all the queries that you might be having with these new developments. So you can send them on the very same address, and then I will get them to attend to those queries. Yeah.
That is excellent. Thank you very much. Listen, I would be happy to send the contact information of the chief inspector as well as her superior, so that you guys can contact them and get first-hand information, and just familiarize yourself with the electrical installation regulations. I don't mean that in a weird way whatsoever. Vessel then said, since you're already working on it and additions of Wynand, I've actually put quite some thought into a system like this. I will share some ideas later. Thank you very much. That would be appreciated. Johan says, can I install a single phase inverter on a 3-phase house? No. No. No, when the term 3-phase comes into the equation, I hear what you're saying. So you've got a 3-phase installation point branching off to 3 separate homes that are all single phase supply. So that's interesting. That is theoretically not 3-phase. That's theoretically single phase. Johan, we are always going to have gray areas. I would make the call. It's difficult for me to know what all the different scenarios are. But if you have a 3-phase board and you're only connecting an inverter onto one of the 3 phases into the 3-phase board, that doesn't qualify as a single phase installation. I think that qualifies as a 3-phase installation. Whereas if you have a 3-phase point of supply that's branched off into 3 single phase points of supply, that is different. So there are lots of different scenarios, lots of ways to consider this. If I were you, I would make the call. Decide what it is you are busy with, have a look at the installation and go for it. Vessel says yes and yes. Yeah, Vessel, true. It is a free document. And then Sean says the limit in the document says 4.6 kVA imbalance between installed capacity. Vessel then says, yes, you can split 3 three-phase into single phases and have an inverter on a single phase. Yeah, but it was about, I think Johan's question was about the single phase tester and at which point the single phase tester can sign off. Sven then says single phase testers wrote and passed the very same. Yeah, it's true. Sorry, guys. Let me just silence that thing. The very same paper 1 and 2 exam that any other registered contractor has been examined on. I think it depends on which route you follow. Sven, there are 3 different routes or 3 different options to register with the Department of Labor. So Lehlo Nolo, I think Sipu left his email address in the chat. If you can't see it in the chat, we'll have to make a plan. But Sipu's contact details definitely available. Mr. Malatsi's contact details, I think I'm going to drop in the chat now as well. Sven says, I understand the point of supply must be single. Yeah, okay. Lawrence says the source will take the main type of connection. Therefore, it's a 3-phase from the council. Eskom, not the individual installation. Only if the 3 individual place of residence have a direct connection to the council or Eskom supply source. Yeah, thanks, Lawrence. And then I think Maria Shaw Ann added an email address for Sipu again at the bottom. And then Lawrence says, then it's a single phase system. Yes, indeed. Okay, guys, wow. That was a quick and unexpected single phase tester chat and conversation. So let me share the screen quickly. Let's move on to, I see there aren't any more questions. Let's move on to the COC platform. Now, there are a couple of things that I'd like to mention as far as the platform's concerned. First of all, the platform is written as a plugin. So the plugin will be available if you want to have a plugin for your website. You would be able to get a plugin for your website. The plugin, however, is going to push the information back to the database at the server. So everything in the plugin is centered around the databases that we've set up. So you would be able to have a plugin for your website. If you wanted to resell COCs, you'd be able to do that. If you've got a Shopify platform, once the WordPress is done, it will be exported into a Shopify platform, and it will probably by March next year, when we've ironed out all the wrinkles, it will be available as an app for your phone. So there is a process that we are working through, and we'll just take it one step at a time. Inside so I can, if you have a WordPress site, there are different tabs on the inside. So you have COC Manager, it has settings with API links, it has a batch allocation, and it has a tab for contractors and persons, and then one for certificates and test reports. If we look at batch allocation, you will be able to, let me just wait for that page to load. On the batch allocation, we will be able to load so there are lots of different variables. You've got some guys that prefer online. You've got some guys that prefer to just buy the COCs and write them out by hand. On this page, you would be able to allocate batches. So Anne would typically, select a contractor and then allocate a certain number of COCs to a specific contractor. Once the allocation has been done, over there it's giving us the numbers for the COCs, and at the bottom over here it tells us who the company is, what the batch number is, the electrical contractor, and a number of COCs that have been issued to that company. Now I just need to find my bearings here quickly. Oh, okay. Kind of masks the different pages. So we have under contractors and persons, we have contractors, we have verified contractors, and we have registered persons. So when you register, you would register your company as the contractor, and you would, in the same form, I think this is the form over here. Let me just close that one quickly. So this is the form. In your registration form, you can either do company registration. When you do the company registration, you both have to register the registered person, and you have to register the electrical contractor. Only once you've registered the company along with the registered person will it generate registration status for you. And will it say, after you've registered, it will say pending verification. We will then be able to, should probably be Anne, would probably go into the dashboard, look at the pending approvals, and she would be able to approve these guys, who would then be able to access the COCs. There has to be an approval process. And the approval process has to be verified with information that you can upload and information that we can confirm before you can start issuing COCs. So that's on that side. There is a registered person registration, and once you click on the registered person registration, it takes the, if you click on company details, it gives you the company information. But if you click on registered person registration, it assumes that you already have a company registered and you want to register multiple registered persons to that particular company. So when you've got a large electrical contracting firm and you want to have 10 registered persons under your electrical company's name, you can load them individually and link them to your company. So the linking at this stage is done in the back of the WordPress site. We have registered persons, we have assignments. Yeah, so that's where the difference comes in between the other platform and this platform. Let's just see. These are certificates and test reports that have not been allocated. So the dates have not been allocated. It shows it's in a draft format. So someone started working with them and they have not been completed yet. Some of the test reports have been completed, but the back end shows the complete list of certificates that have been generated. Then if we go through to the test report, the COC looks similar to this. Once you've logged in, you at the bottom over here, you're going to have a list, the bottom of the page. You'll have a list of all your COCs or test reports that you've worked on, and you would be able to edit the test reports. So you can click on edit over there and it'll loads all your information, shows who the registered person is, shows that Gerald works with Zip Electric. Guys, I just made up names. And then you can continue, you can edit your DB number, you can edit the date, physical address, building location. All the other things are either buttons that you click or they are drop downs. So number of phases, single phase, phase rotation, not applicable, switch disconnector, single pole, 60 amp, short circuit withstand rating, 3 kA, rated earth leakage, tripping current, 30 milliamps, surge protection installed. If you add surge protection is installed. You can add that if it asks it for generator set, it opens up a new field. What type of alternative power supply do you have? So I have a 60 kVA generator. I know that's impractical on a single phase, but I'm just filling information. Is it part of a specialized electrical installation? No. Is it above 1,000 volts? No. We've got all our circuits in there. We can populate the information. Conductors of the correct rating, yes. Components have been correctly selected, yes. Disconnecting devices are correctly located. Circuits and fuses, is bonding applicable? If bonding is applicable, it opens up a field so you can enter the values. It's got place for the different types of testers. So it has all of the fields that you require, along with every selection out of the test report, and you would be able to, the stuff at the bottom over here is automatically populated. So you would be able to amend every part of the test report until the COC has been printed. Once the COC has been printed, you won't be able to edit the document any further, so I can confirm it's accurate and I can save the test report. Once I print the test report, it produces a report like this. You have the option, so it completes all the fields. This particular one only has so it'll place the X where you marked it. Once you have completed the test report and you want to print it, it is going to, I think you guys can see this page as well. Let me just get to the right. There's the COC. If you are going to email the COC, you can email the COC in a yellow format. But if you are going to print it, you're going to print it in a white format. I know that there are some lawyers and guys who do transfers of properties who would prefer to see the COC in yellow, just because they've been seeing it in yellow all along, and they don't believe that white is legit. So you can email it in yellow and print it in white. What else do we have? I'm going to jump through to have a look at the questions quickly. Sean says, Sean says, I have a couple of unread emails in my inbox. Donnie says he has to leave. Thanks, Donnie. Thanks for joining us. Keep well. Sven made another comment. Thanks, Sipu. Guys, I actually think that kind of brings us to the COC document. So Ralph says, is the eCoC friendly to microinverter installations? So Ralph, at the moment, the document that we have here is a copy of the normal, certificate of compliance. So we would be able to make changes to the document in order to make it microinverter friendly. So that would be an interesting discussion, and probably if we are going to start looking at inverter and technology specific installation COCs and test reports, I think we would have to probably gauge that for January next year. I would like to think that the issues that we have in linking up the different data sets and the wrinkles we have to iron out in the beta phase will take another, I'm hoping 3 to 4 weeks to iron out. It's not the bulk of the back end work has been done. It's just a matter of making sure that the way it displays on Firefox is the way it displays on Google Chrome, is the way it displays on all your other browsers. So those are small little tweaks we have to make provision for to make sure that the formatting and the way it pushes and receives information is correct. So I think it would be nice to have it as flexible that it would be technology specific as well as applicable for industry. Guys, I think at the moment it's going to be an extremely user-friendly tool. And where we can tweak it to make provision for the way that you guys use it in your business is going to be determined by you. So if you want to have the batch, have the numbers printed so you can print your COCs at whatever printing shop is nearby, or just print it in your office and then complete them by hand, or whether you want to do it online, or whether you want to do it on an app or Shopify or through WordPress, there will be a solution for the way that you want to use it. And I don't think it would be too difficult to implement and make changes to the foundation, because the foundation or the database has been written in a way that would make it extremely easy to factor in changes. I don't know whether there are any questions around the electronic version of the COC. If there are, you guys are welcome to ask. So Sean, just as a matter of interest, I managed to, so you have two ways you can set up your mailbox, either IMAP or POP. If you set it up as a POP mailbox, it leaves the email on the database. Thanks, Sven. It leaves the email on the database. If you send it up as IMAP, it clears the message once you've downloaded it. I got my emails down to 35,000 emails. It took me about 2 weeks. And then for some reason or the other, it had to sync. It had to sync with the database. And it went up to 66,000 again. And I was just like, come on. Anyway, guys, unless there are any questions on the electronic version of the test report or the COC or functions you guys would like to have, I'm going to end this meeting where it is. And thank you all for joining us for the last meeting of the year. I'm looking forward to
Carel,
Yes,
Sorry, Carel, may I ask one question before we end the meeting? I believe this is the last meeting for the year.
yes.
May I please ask, when are we having braai? When are we scheduling the braai? When are we braaiing?
I'm braaiing this afternoon.
Send the location, send the
the
location, I'll be there.
Yeah, yeah, Leslo Nolo. We normally have a burger evening on Friday, so we'll have burgers tomorrow night, and maybe I don't know, maybe we'll only braai over the weekend. I think it would be good to have an industry body braai, so maybe we can schedule one for. But where do we, Leslo Nolo? I want to make sure you are there. Where do you stay?
Carel, you're saying?
Where do you stay?
I'm in Pretoria.
You're in Pretoria. So if we have it in Centurion, you will join us.
Yeah, send the location, I'll be there.
Okay. I think we'll plan it for. We are going to plan it for. Yeah. Now this. Sorry. Let me just see if I can get this. Yo, I've got a guy on site who's trying to sort out issues. We will organize a braai for early in the new year. We will see where we can host it, and maybe we'll have one in Centurion or in Midrand, and we'll have one in Cape Town for the guys that are Gauteng based and for the guys that are Cape Town based. I'm sorry for the guys in Durban, Port Elizabeth, East London, and Bloemfontein.
What about the Free State guys?
Yeah, I'm apologizing profusely, Brian. We can send you a WhatsApp video.
A voucher.
We can send you a voucher. Yeah, maybe, we've actually got a lot of guys who are based in the Free State. So the Free State is actually a very, I shouldn't say popular region, but yeah, there are lots of guys who are based there. Guys, I think I have to bring it to the end. Jacob, I see your microphone is on, or is that just coincidence? Jacob.
Yeah, hello?
Yes.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, it will be a very short one. I've signed off about 437 systems for the city of Cape Town, and
Yes.
this is the commissioning report. Okay, and I don't want to waste your time now, but if you could contact me, because it's regarding the new regulations from ESCOM's side, that, typically electrical engineers, from EXA, they're not really needed for this work,
Okay.
I differ for two reasons. Obviously, the income. Okay, that's just a joke.
Yeah.
But the important thing is, I have found many of these systems done by excellent people, but it had to be rechecked. And if it's not done properly, I'm afraid many of those would slip through. The other problem is the smaller systems are the more dangerous systems, not the bigger ones, where they say above 50 kilowatt. Usually you find excellent people working at that level.
Yeah,
and I'm not even needed there, even though I am needed there according to ESCOM. I'm needed for these small ones. 5 kilowatt can cause a fire. 5 kilowatt can lead to lethal problems. And those are the ones done by often people not really equipped to do the installations. And that's all that I want to say here.
I was just trying to check whether I've got I don't think I've got your number on my phone.
Can I give it to you now?
Do you want to send me a WhatsApp afterwards?
Yeah. If I get your number, I don't know where to get your number.
Let me see. I'm going to send it to you via the chat.
Okay, fine.
So you should have it in your chat box. I don't think it's. I mean, my email and my telephone number is available on is available on Google everywhere. It's
Okay,
been
I'll
the
try.
same number for the last 15 years. So, but you should have it in the chat box.
Okay, okay. I'll find out how to get it out of that. And don't worry, sorry, I was very late with this. I came in too late. Sorry for that.
No, no, no. There was one more question. I think Zain reminded me about the standards. Okay, guys, so the good news is there's a SANS 60364-7-712. That standard is the last version of it was in 2017. There is a new version for it that is 2024. It has been published now, literally 2 weeks ago. I don't think it's available as a SANS document yet, but it will be available as an IEC document. So you can either just wait a month and buy it then, but that standard for me is by far the standard with the most information on solar installations. Helps with fuse sizing, helps with cable sizing, helps with which types of cables to be used. It's got info on combiner boxes, surge protection devices. So it's got a lot of information on just about everything solar related. Then the standard that the committee has been working on for years, and when I say years, I think it actually goes back to 2012. So that gives us 13 years on developing a standard. It was going to be SANS 10142 Part 1, Part 2. That is the standard it was going to be. It's now called Annex X. So it's going to be included in the normal wiring code. That is pretty much done as well. So I'm expecting that standard to go out for public comment early in the new year. And once it has come out for public comment, I think the process is going to take about the rest of the year next year just to get that standard done. So that standard will probably only be published in the first quarter of 2027. It will contain some references to local information and local standards that's not included in the 60364 version. But I think you should be able, between the wiring code, so 10142 Part 1 and 7712, you should be able to just about get all the info you need for your solar related standards. I was going to cover the 7712 in a little more detail, but I was trying to finish the online COC, so I didn't get through to summarizing the changes between the old and the new version of 7712. Maybe we should leave that for the January meeting. Guys, are there any last comments before we conclude the meeting?
Carel, sorry, what was that standard you were referring to? 603?
Joe. So I think what I'm going to do is I will take away the blur in the background, and then I'll just write it here. So it's 60364. Can you guys see that? Do I need to use something that's a bit darker? -7-712. So that's
6.
60364-7-712. The version that is available at the moment was published about 2 weeks ago, but it's the 2024 version. This, of course, was published as an IEC standard. So it's going to take the SABS a while to adopt that. I don't know when it'll be available as a SANS document. So if you are going to wait a while, this is going to be cheaper. It's going to be cheaper as a SANS document opposed to a IEC document. Someone's taken over the screen. Takalani, are we busy having a look at your emails? How did you do that?
Yeah, I was just trying to figure that out.
That was impressive. Anyway, guys, here is the standard. Joe, I hope that works.
Thanks, Carel. Thank you.
Jakob, if you couldn't get my number, I am going to go through the database. I'll get yours and I will give you a call.
I'm so happy with that. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Really, I
excellent.
am. Thanks very much.
Okay, guys, any last questions? Any requests before we wrap it up for 2020?
Carel,
Yes.
I just can you please send me the process of obtaining this electronic version COC as well, all and the cost, will you please? Or who must how can I get it?
So Brian, if you are going to help with the development, so if you want to be patient and you are happy to assist in testing it, I'm going to drop a link in the WhatsApp group, in the AREP WhatsApp group, and the contractors that are interested in participating in testing the version, you guys will be able to, I don't know, probably about 15 to maybe 20 COCs that you'll get free of charge in the period that you are testing the system.
Okay.
So the guys that register there will get COCs free of charge in batches of 5 as we work through it and as we iron out the issues. So that's how I'm hoping it'll work.
Okay. Thank you very much, Carel.
Thanks, Brian. Jakob, any last thoughts? I see your microphone still on. If you have.
Yes, I'm just very interested in this whole thing of professional engineers. I don't think they should all sign off. They're not equipped for it, some of them. I believe I am, because I've been busy with this since 15 years ago, working, you don't know, Itemba Labs or the National Accelerator Center.
Yeah.
If I may say, I was there. Now, I'll tell you why I say I was head of electronics, so I'm supposed to know more about it. And I was there for 34 years, and I'm still alive. No? So it's quite a period, and I've been involved, and I was actually appointed to start with a green lab at Itemba Labs, and that had to do with solar since almost 20 years ago. So,
wow.
And now I'm signing off, and now I hear I may not be able to sign off anymore, and I think I've got value to offer. And this is why I was involved with a discussion with Stephanie Fick, she's with OTA. And I had a long discussion with her, and now with all parties, you know, Ismail, and you name it. And I'm just fighting for keeping on doing what I do, you know, in the sense of stopping certain installations and then adding values to others, you know. And I think I want to keep on doing it.
Jakob, it sounds like you've done quite a bit of work in the background. So I think it would be nice to have a conversation with you and just see how it is that we can
Yeah.
the work you do complement what we do and what
Yes,
we do.
yes, absolutely. And I'm so open for that. And I think we need to work together because there are just information on all the sides, my side as well, that I'm losing if I don't talk to people, you know, and I don't
Yeah.
want to, you know, I don't like all these robots around me, you know, I want to talk, you know, and listen.
The only way industry works is through promotion, through just keeping on making phone calls, talking to the right people,
Exactly.
sharing information and that kind of thing. So yeah, it would be nice to have a chat.
Well, it's an honor for me that you are interested in talking. Thanks very much. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Jacob. Thanks for your
Thank you.
input.
Okay,
Guys,
I'm
thank you very
Smitty. I'm
much.
Smitty. I'm not Jacob. Jacob is Zuma. I've got it in my name, Jacob, but I don't want it to spread all over the world. They call
You know,
me Smitty and not Jacob. Okay.
you know, it should be possible in your chat. So I can't change it. Maybe I'm not a
No. I'm not too serious. I'm just
I was
saying
going to
everybody
change
calls me Smitty because of my email address is smitty.atoy, you know, and that is the way most people will call me. Okay, thanks very much. And
Smitty,
your
thank you
name,
very
sorry, your name?
Carel.
Carel. Okay, Carel. Very nice talking to you. Okay, great stuff.
Excellent.
I'm waiting. Thank you.
Thanks, Smitty.
Okay,
Guys, thank you very much for your input. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for saying hi and for the invites to the braai.
okay, okay. I'm in Stellenbosch. It's a bit far, but I may make it. Okay, thank you. Okay, now. Cheers.
Thank
Thanks,
you very much.
Carel.
Keep well. Thanks, guys. Cheers. Cheers.